Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? It's your boys, and we're back. So before we get started, let's talk about something that should make you. I'm tired of making y'all mad, but let's just, let's let's just tell y'all a story. Meta spent over 20 million in a single 9-month stretch. They had somewhere between 87 and 89 lobbyists with one job: kill the Kids Online Safety Act before it became law. Now, okay, the original version of that bill wasn't necessarily playing games. And I have a correction with that later on about that. But it would have held platforms legally accountable for the actual design of their apps, infinite scrolls, notification spikes, the algorithm that's engineered specifically to hook anybody living. Like you're born and you see a screen till you die, you see a screen. It is meant to hook your brain and not let it go.
Facts.
And that's what Meta was fighting, not a vague idea of safety. The actual mechanisms and the mechanics of how they make their money. And they won that fight, really. They used free speech arguments, of course, to stall it in-house after they had already passed the Senate.
Right. And that's why we got to repeal Citizens United. Repeal Citizens United. And that's the part people sleep on. They killed it using the same free speech defense corporations love to hide behind whenever it's convenience for their bottom line, right? So that's where the story gets even more interesting because this year in 2026, Meta does a complete 180, right? Now they're all about kid safety, huh? So suddenly the public they publicly support the KOSA, the Kids Online Safety Act. And the reason isn't a change of heart, guys. It's not. It's a change of legal exposure. Now I'm going to explain that. See, a jury in California found that Meta was liable for intentionally designing addictive features that compromise child safety and hit them with a $6 million lawsuit and damages. Then in New Mexico, a jury came back with a $375 million suit. And then there are thousands of similar lawsuits from families and schools, districts in the same pipeline that are causing Meta a lot of pain when it comes to protecting kids online and their addictive natures. So Meta isn't fighting the bill anymore. They're now just trying to rewrite it from the inside. They want the burden of age verification shifted onto Apple and Google so that whenever the kid downloads the app, oh, we didn't make them addicting. Apple and Google allowed these kids to download the app in the first place. So they want to completely remove themselves of all the burden, and now there's a leaked legislative language showing that they're actively lobbying for an amendment that would make them immune from any of these lawsuits happening in the future, completely and entirely.
So let's just plainly explain what this means. They spent millions trying to kill child protection. They lost it in court repeatedly for hundreds of millions of dollars. And now their solution isn't to fix the problem or the product. It's to get Congress to make sure a jury can never do that to them again. That's not protecting your kid. That's not protecting anything other than themselves from the lawsuit that's available. And to top it all off, while they're doing this in Washington, they're doing the same version of this overseas. In May, Meta sued a UK's media regulator, Ofcom, I believe I'm saying that right, in London's High Court, specifically to stop Ofcom from calculating fines based on Meta's worldwide revenue instead of just what they earn in the UK. So globally, the pattern's still the same. We're going to fight the law. We're going to lose. Then we're going to spend more money trying to shrink the consequences instead of changing the behavior.
And that's the thing about systems built by people with the most money. And we keep on talking about it. You got to reverse this. What they do, they get to dismantle things. And when they're proven harmful, they quietly redesign the same What I'm trying to say is they don't get to dismantle when they're proven harmful. They get to quietly redesign the same people who broke them in the first place. Basically, they fuck things up and then they get to redesign things in the law to benefit them no matter what, which actually connects directly to our second story, when we get to, or do you want to get into tonight? Because the exact same dynamic has the exact same dynamic. Who gets to design a system, and who's left to find out their own way out of it? This is playing out in the workplace right now. You've probably seen it in your timeline, or maybe you haven't. But there's a thing popping up called micro retirement. Gen Z and millennials are stepping completely out of the workforce for 6 months, a year, sometimes 2. And this is not a sabbatical with a return date. They are taking this is not even bank vacation days. This is a self-elected opt-out of the traditional grind. And on the surface, it looks like a flex, right? Like, must be nice to retire at 26 or 28. But that's not really what's happening for most people doing it.
No, not at all. Let's. I know we like talk numbers here, but numbers back things up. Right now, only half of all workers report that they're actually thriving in their overall lives. Right? Thriving is the word that's holding the sentence together. That's a record low since Gallup started tracking that data back in 2009. Burnout mentions on Glassdoor reviews hit an all-time high last year. So this isn't people like walking away from success out of boredom, because, like, let's be honest, it ain't a lot of success happening just working a dead-end job. This is people walking away from a system that actively is breaking them down, and doing so in a way that they only have access to by funding their own escape hatch through savings, freelance work, sometimes even moving somewhere cheaper for a while. Now, nobody's handed them that option at all. They built this themselves because the traditional path of working straight through until you're 65 has stopped making sense for a generation, while watching their parents sacrifice their whole lives for jobs that didn't sacrifice anything back. Also, getting rid of Social Security. So there's no reason to work till 65. I can't get my money back.
Facts. And that's the connective tissue between both these stories tonight, man. Meta engineered an app to extract attention from a 13-year-old's brain, but not even just 13-year-olds, from 5 years old all the way to 70s, from my nieces and nephews all the way to my mother, who is over 60. We're all addicted to these apps, So, and it's all because these corporations want profit. Corporations engineered a culture of overwork, disappearing pensions, and a burnout as a badge of honor because labor is profit. The algorithm hooks the kid, your mama, your grandmama, you, and the job hooks the adult. Both of them eventually have to fight their way out. One through lawsuits that take years and millions of dollars to win, and the other through personally funded escape hatch that most working class people just can't afford to take in actuality. Because let's be honest, the working class version of micro retirement doesn't look like Bali or a content deal. It looks like a single mom finally taking six unpaid months because her body gave out with no other choice. Or they just even can't find a job nowadays.
Competition for a job is horrible. It's the competition for a job right now is really dog eat dog. And the single mom who's taking a 6-month pay because her body gave out no choice, or the dad that has the wife and kid that he has to provide for, but the mental capacity of going to work for a job that he hates and traffic through and coming home, still got to take care of the husband duties, the dadly duties. Listen, man, we're going to get into both these stories tonight. We're going to talk about how the most powerful company in the world fights a law, loses in court, and then spends even more money rewriting the rules in their own favor instead of just fixing the problem. And how regular working people are quietly opting out of a system that was never really built for their well-being in the first place. We kind of just found that out yesterday, that this system was not built for us. Two completely different stories sitting in two different completely parts of the news cycle, but they're here teaching us the same exact thing.
Which is the system will not protect you. You have to find your own way to protect yourself nowadays, whether you are parenting between fighting meta in the courtroom or you're working or you're a worker fighting burnout with one-way ticket to with the one-way ticket and a savings account to built by yourself.
That's everything is, man. That's everything is a hypocrisy. So let's get into it. Episode 34. Let's rock.
Before we get into this, this is what publicly Meta is putting out. But yeah, we gotta check out UConn in a second. But yeah, this is what publicly Meta is putting out to the public. So when you go on your YouTube or your television, this is what they're putting out as a front branding of what they care about.
We got cheese this time.
So, Mom, I have to go.
Friends.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Love you. All right, let's get you potted up. What time? Seriously? How'd you do this? No. I know. It's not your favorite. We're gonna look left, right. Let's go.
All right, Instagram teen accounts. That's what they're putting out publicly, as if they really give a fuck about you and your kids, while they're fighting in court to maintain the right to make these apps addictive, while they're fighting in court to take no accountability for the dangers and the risk of these social media platforms. So we are Everything Is. Thank y'all for joining us. If you're here tonight, I'm playing a little BG music. I am your host, CT Chitty Bang. Here are my co-hosts, Chris the Most High, Joint Roller Ayatollah himself. And we are here to bring to you everything that matters. What everything is. We are the zeitgeist. We are the culture. Chris, how you feeling? I know you're giving a shout out to all the people who rocking orange and blue today in New York City.
Yeah. Are you in me? We got us a little orange and blue scheme going on right now today. As Stephen A would say, orange and blue skies. Orange and blue skies. You got orange and blue shirts on the show today, baby. We rocking out. You know what I mean? Shout out to Jose Alvarado.
That's blue?
Nah, it's blue. It's blue. It ain't the blue that's needed, because I ain't really all the way there, Nick said. You know what I mean? If anybody know me, it's B, baby. It's 24/8, baby.
Mr. Contrarian himself, bro. If he's gonna find a way to be outside the group for no reason at all, just because he wants to stir shit up. Stir shit up.
Man, I might fuck around and say I got on cowboy blue today. You know what I'm saying? I got on cowboy blue.
Listen, guys. Have y'all heard the opening monologue? Yeah, I was a little bit choppy, so let me first take the compliment. We did a great job in practice. But right when that red light comes on, man, those words be tripping me up. I be scrolling through the damn thing, like figuring out, like, where am I again, bro? But we were talking about Meta, man. We were talking about Meta and the accountability they must have when it comes to the Kids Online Safety Act. They fought against it a year ago. They now are for it, and we wonder why. Why now? Why now? So we're gonna break that down for y'all today. If y'all have been following it, obviously it's due to lawsuits. Obviously they want to deregulate certain things. Obviously they want to have power within the government to change its rules and regulations, and we're gonna tell you exactly why. And then we're going to get into today on the new culture wave going on called micro retirement. People are taking these 6 months hiatuses, traveling, saving up their money and going to places and just taking their retirement in the middle of their lifetime rather than waiting until the end to get all their retirement money and all that stuff. And whatever is promised, because guarantee is not, as we're seeing right now, it's not really promised. I mean, my mother is 60 years old, she's still going to work, and it's no, she's about to be 70. Excuse me, sorry, yeah, and she's still going to work.
She would have loved it if you would have kept it at 60. I guarantee you.
Hey, maybe she would have, but hey, I'm here to keep it real with you, man. Who knows? But for real, bro, like it should. I mean, the realities of it is that a 70-year-old woman should not be working, but she has to due to the way that things are currently set up. She's been working, majority of her life. So, yeah, we're gonna talk into that. We're gonna talk into the whole micro-retirement culture being broached right now, the benefits and the detriments of that. But first, we're going to tackle Meta. Chris, what you want to say before we get into this first topic today?
Are you in me? No, we can go, brother.
All right. Yeah, I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. Let's tackle it real quick.
So it was like goddamn. That song was made by Meta, was it not?
That song was made by some type of demon, some Mephisto.
This is what the white people say is fentanyl in the music.
Fentanyl in the music. You see, that's why it was in my rap. I'm telling y'all, like y'all play me because Justin Bieber's in my rap, but that Yukon song is fucking crazy though. It's fire. But yeah, man. So
somebody makes my drink, brother. Somebody makes my drink.
It's fire.
It's so yeah, man. So I do. So as I stated, I'm sorry. I wanted to correct myself as we both wanted to make corrections to the monologue. Let me first go ahead and correct myself. Some details in the original brief need to be talked about, right? The bill Meta pivoted to support is actually the App Store Accountability Act, which is the ASAA. Not a modified KOSA, but Meta's own federal filing listed here. And what this is to your point, what we spoke of.
I think there's two things happening here. Just real quick. I think they have pivoted with the KOSA. I do not want to misinterpret that because I have my own data here, and we can look it up. It's on Reddit. It's on Politico. Their stance on the KOSA now. But what they did is, I'll tell you exactly.
But I just want. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I'll break it down for you. So Meta initially successfully defeated the initial push for the U.S. Kids on Life Safety Act through an aggressive multi-million-dollar lobbying campaign. Though the company has since pivoted to support a heavily modified version of the bill in exchange for legal immunity. So basically, they're like, all right, we don't want this bill, but if y'all make changes where, hey, we are not responsible and you can change it so that we don't get sued in the future, then we're in favor of it. So what they did was they had a heavy lobbying spend. They spent over $20 million in a single 9-month stretch and employed an army of 87 to 89 lobbyists, bro, specifically tasked with targeting Capitol Hill to defeat or weaken child safety regulations. So this is what they did as of, I believe, last year. Like, this is not like something that's...
They spent 19.7 in that 9 months, and then overall 26.3 in that full year, to your point. And that 86 lobbyists, 86 to 85 to 89 lobbyists was across 45 states. So yeah, a total of $26 million to roughly for this one lobbyist for this one lobbying account that they're trying to do.
Yes, exactly. And so essentially, they initially opposed the KOSA by invoking corporate and user freedom of speech arguments. This helped stall litigation in the House of Representatives after it passed in the Senate. So it already passed in the Senate, and they stalled it out in the House.
So,
yeah, and they said, hey, man, what about our freedom of speech? Corporations. What about Citizens United? This is what they're doing. And they stalled that motherfucker out for the rest of the year, essentially.
This is Leon Powell, actually. I know we're saying Citizens United, but this This is the great grandchild or grandchild of
Lewis Powell, yeah,
Lewis.
Lewis Powell Jr., bro. This is the
I call that-
grandchild of it. Yeah, you're so right. We were just talking of, no, you're right, 100%. Like this is the manifesto of what he put in place with the Powell memo. You know, is that he wanted corporations to have a lot more say in the culture, kind of control the culture. You know, and we're seeing it right here, and that was affecting your kids. So you gotta. I know might not be the most interesting thing for everybody, but we want to keep y'all abreast of what's happening in real time. Because in as you saw in the video I just showed you, publicly they're saying, hey man, we're gonna protect your teenagers. We're gonna protect your teenagers, man, and you know we're all about children's safety. But behind the scenes, they're trying to fight it. They don't want to take any accountability for it. So the original draft of the KOSA was aimed to hold tech platforms legally accountable for harmful design features like infinite scrolling. Remember back in the day when you used to go to Twitter and you could scroll and then it will say, "Hey, no more news for today. You hit the bottom." You know, no more. We don't got that anymore. The notifications have spiked. You know, you get notifications for any bullshit now. Sometimes I'm getting notifications for things I don't even care about. I'm like, what? Okay, Paraguay scored a goal, and you know, okay, cool, I get it. I like sports, but I don't care about Paraguay's goal in the in the World Cup right now. I'm focused on, you know, it's not even like one of my favorite teams, but they might tell you some random thing about some dude somewhere doing some it's crazy with the notifications you get. So infinite scrolling, notification spikes, an algorithm recommending loop that hooks minors. So this is teaching minors that they are to just keep staying on the app, feeding them things that they want to see constantly. Meta heavily fought these safety by design mandates to protect its core business model. Because I do believe that if we counteract these social media companies and we say, hey, listen, you're not able to do the infinite loops and the notifications and, you know, the give these kids these dopamine spikes, or not even just the kids. Like I keep saying, like, it's us too. It's our parents, you know, it changes the culture. Like this is like we're talking about the Powell memo. Like the culture has now become corporations controlling you and understanding everything about you, whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, here on YouTube, here on Twitch. The corporations are now like they know so much about you, and they are also able to feed you what everything you want, and kind of control you to where your impulses are to buy this, look at this. Your watch time, you know, goes crazy. I know my watch time is on YouTube will be crazy because I watch a ton of sports content and political conversations and all that type of stuff. And if we kind of like tackle some of these things, say, hey man, we still need some human autonomy. I do think that it hurts their bottom line.
Now, I do also want to add as well, just as a, and this shouldn't even be like a annotation here, but this also to the point of in that July 2024 when it was originally passed by the Senate, 91-3, by the way, the House never brought it to a vote. They also talked about platforms had to exercise reasonable care in their design to prevent foreseeable harms like eating disorders as well, substance abuse, and suicidal behavior, right? Like these were the things that were also covered within these things. And it was supposed to, by default, let people opt out of the algorithmic recommendations and defaulting to the strongest privacy settings. That was what this fight was supposed to be. Now, to your point about the free speech defense, right? Whether it's legitimate or convenient, it was a really great contested corporate spin. I can't even deny that they provided with the Electronic Frontier Foundation. It argued that the infinite scroll and the autoplay are protected by the First Amendment. That's what they brought to us, and that KOSA, the Kids Online Safety Act, was using design features as a proxy to regulate content lawmakers to regulate content that lawmakers did not like. So pretty much what they were saying is, because the lawmakers did not like it, they were able to wield and justify themselves to create this and pass this, and that's why it held up in the House. And so,
The lawmakers did not like what specifically, though?
well, for what they're saying is the vague duty of care, because that was what the core of this was, duty of care. That was what was the crux of the argument that was placed upon of why this went to the Senate. That the tech companies, as you stated, had a duty of care, and that it being enforced by state attorney generals could lead to a politically motivated censorship, while age verification requirements could undermine privacy for everyone. That is what they presented.
But they presented that if the states have control, that they're going to censor everyone. But interesting. But isn't I struggle with that one, because a lot of people, you will hear them fight for states' rights,
Yes.
and a lot of them
Yes.
are conservative people, they
Correct.
don't want to be controlled by the federal government. But why right here do we have these corporations now saying, hey, man, we don't want the states to have rights on this because they're going to censor people? Like, that's just weird to me, At the end of the day, if a state says, hey, in our city, we don't want kids to be able to log in and get infinite scrolling on these apps, you got to change it, and you got to change your model so that when they sign in and they know what state they're in, they're not getting that. Why can't they implement a feature for that? And how is that censoring? That's how is that mass censorship?
Hey, they for some reason or another, the conveniency of that argument, even though that the questions that you may have may be valid, they consider this pretty much
Valid. They consider it a reason to stop.
A reason, exactly. Because here's my thing that I want to also present to you, right? The civil liberties critique is real, right? But Meta wasn't making that argument out of principle, right? They made it while simultaneously funding a 45 state lobbying operation to push a bill that protects only their own apps. You see what I'm saying? Like, so with this, they're playing both sides. You know what I mean? Like, they have the public face and they have the backdoor funding. So we're like,
Speaking of,
it can't go either way.
Exactly. Speaking of playing both sides, here we're in the middle of 2026. Meta right now is completely reversed its stance and has dropped its opposition to the KOSA. However, this pivot came after massive caveats aimed at protecting its own interests, like you're saying, shifting the regulatory burden to its tech rivals. So Meta agreed to back the KOSA only because it was packaged alongside provisions requiring App Store providers, specifically Apple and Google, to handle age verification and parental consent at the operating system level. This shifts the legal culpability away from Meta's individuals' apps if a minor falsifies their age. So basically, their competitors, Apple and Google, are now going to have the legal burden shifted to them. So there's a fight now going on between Meta versus Apple and Google, the app stores where you get these apps, the Instagram and no, you should verify the age. You're the ones that should be protecting kids. Now, I'm not so sure about that. I really do think that Meta is the one having the product. The App Store is a interface. It's all it is. It's a marketplace where I can put my app there. If I put an app out and something happens, I, as a business owner, am liable for it. Why is it only Meta that will be completely left blameless if a kid were to, self-harm themselves due to one of these apps, or if they are completely addicted and they're missing, moments of their life because of it, and has an adverse attention, or they're watching the app and get into a car wreck. Like, why can't they be the ones if they're the ones feeding us? And they already have been proven that it's meant to begin with dopamine rush. It's meant to keep you on the app as much as possible. Now, they're lobbying for legal immunity. Leaked legislative language revealed that Meta is actively lobbying Congress to include amendments that would make social media companies immune from suit or liability under state law regarding child safety claims. So they want now for no states to be able to sue them, even though they are the richest ones. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was about to say, but I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's okay.
But this comes from a verdict that happened already.
Exactly.
Right? And this year, March 24th, 2026, a New Mexico jury found Meta liable for failing to protect kids from child exploitation and ordered $375 million in damages for consumer protection violations. The very next day, a California jury found Meta and YouTube liable for platform features that cause children to become addicted, resulting in mental health stress.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Because YouTube, honestly, you can't even block shit for your child, yo. I have a nephew that I've been trying to block certain things so he doesn't go back and find it and watch it nonstop. It's a lot of, like, they call it brain rot, just shit that's not. There's no educational value. As a matter of fact, it promotes the kids to do bad things sometimes. Like,
bro, how do they get the kids shorts to be shooting and talking crazy? Like, he's on kid shorts, and it's like me and Ivana have to specifically like, yo, you gotta turn them shorts off. Or no,
we're taking away the tablet. And it's hard because you don't want to punish the kid and say, no, we're taking away the tablet, but you want them to like what they like. But a lot of times they're watching some badass kids do some badass things, and they're picking up the bad behavior, and that the parents or the uncle in my kid's position, have to deal with because there's no way to block the fucking video. So they should be sued. I'm sorry, you are the ones creating this technology. It doesn't make any sense why Google Store should be responsible or Apple Store should be responsible for a YouTube algorithm that feeds your kid bad content to make your kid be a badass kid, and then act out and do some fuck shit, or a teenager dealing with depression and it teaches your kid to self-harm, or your kid is a teenager and he's trying to get she's trying to get a cool shot in their car or a picture or watch a video on some Instagram bullshit, and they crash into a light post. This is all because of the app. This is not because of Apple or Google. Let's hold the tech companies responsible. I'm saying this as a tech developer myself, as a computer scientist myself, a person who's made an app. There's so much you got to think about. So I get it, but I'm a one-man show, and I got to take responsibility for my shit. Much less somebody like if I create, for instance, if I create my work application, a system where I could talk to you, and then there's like a follower account, and you can reach out to people that you don't know. If somebody's getting stalked on my app because they're posting their fitness photos, and some creep is like stalking them, I got to think about these things. I got to make sure that what are the precautions for protecting somebody, because now they get to see videos of people going to the same gym around them. Now, you got to think about these things. And these are multi-billion-dollar companies that are acting like they shouldn't have any type of responsibility.
Yes. And Meta is, and let's be honest, Meta ain't just Instagram, nigga. It ain't just Facebook. It's WhatsApp too.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Like, so we talking about encrypted stuff. Like, nothing's encrypted when
they add in a story to WhatsApp as if it's needed.
So my thing is the messages that you send, whether it be harmful or harmless, right? Well, let's just say, for instance, we're talking about this teenage student or these teenage girls or whatever the case may be. I know grown women that say, I send my pictures of myself to my homegirls because I'm getting body affirmation, or I'm getting, I'm getting So you think about teenagers that can do the same thing. If somebody hacks into their Meta account, whether that be WhatsApp or whatever the case may be, like if they hack into WhatsApp because it's connected to Meta, and then they able to hack into their fucking IG and then post it on their IG, or hack into their Facebook and post it on their Facebook because they originally got it from the hacked account of WhatsApp, Meta is responsible. Meta should be responsible. And shout out to the Attorney General out there in New Mexico, Raul Torres, who accused Meta of misleading users about the safety of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, and enabling child sexual exploitation on those platforms, alleging predators are unfettered, had unfettered access to underage users, just like I was stated. Torres said Meta executives knew their products harmed children, disregarded warnings from their own employees, and lied to the public about what they knew. The jury ordered the maximum penalty under the state law, because it was state law, $5,000 per violation, totaling up to $375 million. Now, can we do some math? Can we do some math? Can I just see
5,000
how
per
many violations?
violation. Okay.
5,000 per violation, totaling up to 375. So 375 million. I put that on my calculator. 375 million divided by 5,000. That means they had 75,000 violations. 75,000 violations, which ultimately resulted them to pay 375 million, making New Mexico the first state in the nation to prevail at a trial against a major tech company over harming young people. So California, that set the precedent. California the next day. I'm sorry, California, that set the precedent to your point. Because California the next day, in their case that they brought forth by a 20-year-old plaintiff that they identified as Kaylee and her mother, allegedly that design feature, like auto scrolling, got Kaylee hooked at a young age, leading to anxiety, depression, and body image issues. The jury awarded $3 million in compensation damages, plus another $3 million in punitive damages. So that was a total of $6 million, right? So to this point,
and imagine,
this is why the verdicts alone don't change the behavior. It's the combination of the verdicts plus the looming threat of more that should make Meta change their.
It's happening right now, real time. The fight is happening, and everybody should be informed of this. Because shout out to Kaylee and her family for making the fight. But there's so many men and women who are dealing with the same thing that can't have the legal money to fight back on this thing and to fight Meta. But we should be informed, and I wish that everybody could get their piece of the pie when it comes to their teenagers being brainwashed into these things. I mean, I have a nephew who he's on a spectrum, but he repeats a lot of the things he sees online. And honestly, I wish we could sue YouTube because it doesn't allow for a feature to block this stuff. And when you have a kid who who is on the spectrum that needs to be stimulated constantly, it's hard to prevent him from getting the harmful content to his algorithm, to his tablet, and there should be accountability for these tech companies. I shouldn't have to go to Google to say, oh, you allowed my kid on the app. No, they're just a marketplace, and I think what we're talking about here is that between the New Mexico case and the California case, and then also, let's be real quick, Meta also relies on lobbying to reshape U.S. laws and the UK, because they also had in the UK, Meta is suing British media regulator Ofcom, as you mentioned in the intro, to prevent from calculating regulatory enforcement fees and potential non-compliance up to 10% based on Meta's worldwide revenue rather than just UK specific. So they're seeing the crack in the armor of, oh, they're going to hold us accountable for this stuff. And this is all fines that they know of. This is not something, these are regulations that they already were in place. Let's be clear. It's not like they're like, hey man, we're just coming up with this now that you should protect kids. No, there are things that should be in place that they're not complying with. And now they're like, oh, we don't want to pay that much money. We don't want to pay.
But this is what I'm trying to. So to your point, to your point as well. I'm sorry. This right here, the landmark of these verdicts, should influence the outcome of roughly 2,000 other pending lawsuits right now.
Yeah.
Right, the lawsuits are coming from school districts, local and state governments, the federal governments, thousands of families. Like they are coming, and this is to seek billions of dollars. This is what they want. But like, because let's be honest, the 375 million plus the 6 million I just added, so what's that? 381 million. That sounds like a lot. That ain't shit to the $201 billion revenue of just last year. Just last year. 2025, $201 billion in revenue last year. Their market cap is 1.5 trillion right now. So yes, I do believe that right now at this peak, like you said, we're at the peak, we're at the precipice, and people need to understand, fuck it, nigga. If you put in your class action lawsuit, nigga, shit, you know what I mean? They might hit us with a little ticket.
Yeah, man. Now, before we go on to what Kyle Kulinski shot to him on YouTube, we're gonna play one of his videos just to show what's going on a little bit, and where this could go as far elsewhere, because there's also a safety issue when it comes to surveillance and censorship. Be real quick, to determine whether Meta will actually face consequences or successfully dodge liability for its harmful programming in the future, we need to look past its public relations ads and closely track 4 specific legal, political, and operational battlegrounds. One is the legal defenses. Product design versus third-party content. The greatest determinant of Meta's liability is how judges interpret its legal defense strategy. Now, the Section 230 shield, which we talked about before, and remember we were talking about Section 230 as it pertained to, what was it? Not being held liable for things on the internet. What was it, bro? Oh man, what was the story? I just forgot it, but I'll remember it. We talked about Section 230 last week, but for decades, tech giants have used Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act to dismiss lawsuits, arguing that they are not responsible for harmful things other people post on their apps. Oh yeah, it was the AI, causing people to harm themselves, commit suicide, people who are going through depression, and then not getting notified about it. And the 230 was used in that situation as well, saying that, so now we're going to pay attention to what's going on in Florida with the shooting, and Sam Altman and OpenAI being responsible for that case. We'll keep you on breath to that. But they used Section 230 with that situation, and he said it doesn't apply to that case. Remember that? Yeah. So what to watch is if courts are focusing on content or conduct. Landmark rulings such as the recent verdicts in California, New Mexico, and major Massachusetts Supreme Court decision have rejected Meta's shield. The courts ruled that families are suing Meta over its own conduct, intentionally designing addictive infinite scroll loops and notification spikes, not third-party content. If appeal courts uphold this harmful design logic, Meta's legal shield will permanently crack. Number 2, the final language of the federal Kids Online Safety Bill, and the exact words written to the final text on the Kids Online Safety Act will dictate Meta's future legal exposure. The federal liability shield, as reported by Reuters, Meta is currently trying to attach an immunity clause to KOSA, as we mentioned, and we have to watch whether Congress includes federal preemption. If the final law contains a broad preemption clause, it will wipe out thousands of ongoing state-level youth addiction lawsuits, effectively wiping Meta's multi-billion-dollar liability state clean. So we just got to keep watching on whether Congress includes the federal preemption, because that will be a kill shot to all these, youth addiction lawsuits. 3, state level public nuisance and consumer protection precedences. While federal law stalls, state attorneys general are using creative local law to pin massive financial damages on Meta. The big tobacco playbook, as we mentioned before, man, states like New Mexico successfully sued Meta using the Unfair Practices Act, arguing that Meta knowingly lied to the public about child safety to protect its profits, leading to a $375 million verdict. They are also testing public nuisance laws, the same legal strategy once used to break tobacco companies. What we got to pay attention to is how Meta's legal appeals perform. If state judges uphold these multi-million-dollar deceptive practices penalties, it creates a green light for the remaining 40-plus states currently suing Meta to demand massive identical payouts. And they also got to approve legal causation in court. If a judge allows the case to go to trial, plaintiffs must clear a very difficult hurdle, proving that Meta's algorithms directly cause a child's medical or psychiatric harm. The blame game. Meta's lawyers routinely argue that a teen's anxiety, depression, or self-deprivation stems from external factors like school stress, family dynamics, or pre-existing mental health struggles, not Instagram. So we got to watch for the unsealing of the internal Meta corporate data. If whistleblowers or court discovery reveal internal company data proving Meta's engineers knew specific algorithms directly caused a measurable spike in youth self-harm, but kept them active to drive ad revenue, it fulfills the legal standard of substantial causation needed to hold them liable. So those are the 4 things we need to pay attention to see where it goes. You got the legal defense of product design versus third-party content, the final language of the federal Kids Online Safety Act bill, state-level public nuisance and consumer protection precedences, which we've seen a little bit of that already, and then proving legal causation in court. So we'll stay abreast of that as we continue to move forward.
And so, with that, what is Meta actually supporting now, and why? What is Meta actually supporting now, and why does it protect them specifically? Currently, right now, the part of the story that needs most, I kind of need to kind of give annotations to is Meta covertly funded a grassroots child safety group called Digital Childhood Alliance to advocate for the App Store Accountability Act, which it requires app stores to verify user ages before downloads. So to your point, they try to, in their cases, they try to dump that and put money behind that and pump behind, hey, give age verification. Hey, it's supposed to be the interfaces issue to verify this and to protect them for them to be even,
Apple,
because Facebook has always been, to their point, they have always been ground. I don't even know if it's ground zero, but I know Facebook, you used to have a college email. You used to have a college email to get on Facebook.
They went away from that a long time ago.
They went away from that. They had it in place already. They had it in place already. It was built in to the model. If you didn't have a college, because be realistic. When it started, which we all saw the movie, it was just for homies to get around, to be quite honest. And if you was there for those 4 years with that extra little time that you may have had your email, you could have been around for about a good 6, 7, 8 years tops.
The transition from MySpace to Facebook was very seamless.
And to their design, you were supposed to. And to be honest, bro, think about this: massive worldwide college campus access between the tender ages of 17 to maxed out, what, 25, 26, 20. Nigga, that's all you need. That's all you, that's all you need, brother. Because by the time you done graduated, you in the real world, you know what I'm saying? You moving and shaking around wherever you at. You done, but by then, you done did what you need to do on campus, brother.
It goes to show that like Punani rules the world, no matter what you talk about. It all goes back to that, like somehow, some way. You know, like you talk about how Facebook was created. It was all about it was all about Punani.
Us trying to connect, and it wasn't with the homies. No. It was with the homies.
Yeah, man. But yeah, we're gonna stay tuned on this, man. Like, you got anything else to say before we move on to the video?
No. Go ahead and move it to the video, brother.
Oh shit. Okay, it's there. I thought that was gonna be long. I was shocked that the video was actually there. Let me get a good pic. Let me center this joint. Shout out to the guy, Cocklincy. I like his content a lot. You know, he seems to be about the right stuff.
He seems to be about the right stuff. We gotta support no good white man.
AI laws. The company's objections helped kill the kid safety bill nearly 2 years ago. Okay, so a controversial deal in the U.S. could fundamentally rewrite internet freedom as we know it. The congressional deal would trade the deregulation of artificial intelligence for unprecedented federal censorship powers. Stick with me here. A high-stakes compromise is quietly brewing in Washington as the White House negotiates with congressional leaders to fundamentally reshape the digital landscape. Under the proposed deal, reported by Axios, the federal government would strip states of their authority to regulate artificial intelligence. Let me just pause on that real quick. We're all looking at the federal government, bought and owned by the AI tech oligarch demons, okay? They're giving these AI companies anything and everything they want, letting them run roughshod. But now what they're saying is, even if states want to step in where the federal government is lacking, if states want to step in to say you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't use all this water, you can't do the noise pollution, you can't do X, Y, and Z, they say, nope, we want to block you from being able to regulate at the state level, effectively halting progressive state-level efforts to hold tech companies accountable and restrict energy-heavy AI data centers. In exchange, lawmakers would push through 3 major federal censorship bills: the Kids Online Safety Act, the No Fakes Act, and a federal online age verification mandate. While framed as common sense protections for minors, civil liberties advocates warn these measures represent an unprecedented expansion of federal control over online speech. Let me pause to point out, they first started with these things when it came to porn websites, where they said, we need age verification for these online porn websites. Well, what does that actually mean in practice? It means if you want to jack off to online pornography, you need to submit your driver's license to a government database.
Yes!
Yeah, I don't know about you. That seems to me like mass surveillance. That seems to me like the government having way too much information on what your personal kink is, what you're into. You have to submit your driver's license to jerk off? What the fuck are we talking about? What in the 1984 hellscape is this?
Now, this is twofold, because to my surprise, Florida warned my ass about a couple, I think it was about 6 months ago. I was bullshitting around, and you go on the site, and at the top, it got the little ticket there, and I'm like, whatever, bypass, whatever, can it be? Nigga, I went on there a couple weeks after that, or shit, literally like, you know, last month, 2 months ago, them motherfuckers had, they had a mask on the video, because you know you get your little preview, right? And then they got a mask on the description. And when you click on it, you then have to go to a third-party site to verify yourself. And I'm like, all right, fucking yeah, it's me. I ain't a robot, it's me. Then the motherfucker said, show your face. Oh, hell no.
Damn.
Nigga, my dick's off. Nigga, you could just imagine. Yeah, element. You know what I'm saying?
Sitting back.
You sit back. House quiet. You're like, all right, let me get this off real quick. And the motherfucker say, show your face. You're like, oh, nigga, I don't even know my wallet at. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, son, that is crazy. Complete mood killer, complete vibe.
Oh, it kills the vibe so bad.
That is not Vibe City. Vibe City. That is
my
terrible, bro. Shit. Tell me what site that was, so I never go there.
all of them, all of them, bro. I tried all my sites, nigga. I was like, XX, X videos. I was trying them all.
All the X's.
All the X's.
Oh shit, that's crazy. It's already happening, bro. Oh man. Like, here's the thing. I'll say this. I don't think this is meant to help kids. I really don't. Because I think this is more about surveillance. They weren't this like kids being safe online wasn't that important to them when it came to pornography and all that. As a matter of fact, Elon bought Twitter, what, 4 years ago? 4 or 5 years ago? And
don't mention that about Twitter. That's the good site.
X. Yeah. And it made it basically an X.
On me.
Yeah.
Leave it alone. Don't even mention it.
Yo, and he's just out. Like, your kids can find anything on there, for real. Like, that's why they got Blue Sky, way more regulated. It's open source. I fuck with that. We might have to hop on there. But when I'm looking at it, I'm like, bro, it's just not really about protecting kids. This is more about them trying to know everything about you. Imagine all the things they're gonna know about you, and you're, like you said, you're knowing your kinks and all that stuff, and just being able to surveil you. And what I don't like more than anything is the preventing of states to regulate AI. So we're saying that the federal government gets to decide if a company comes in and does business in a state and taints the water, and the companies can't say, hey man, you can't do this, you can't do that because of these regulations in this particular state. Because not every state is structured the same way. Some states are heavily reliant on reservoirs and their water source. Some states are heavily reliant on certain things for aggregation and irrigation, and there's a water shortage in places, in droughts, and you got to take all that into consideration when you're letting these AI companies come in and run roughshod in there. But they want to piece together the Kids Online Safety Act. Let me go back and read that again. The Kids Online Safety Act. What else? The No Fakes Act and a federal online verification mandate. Let me look up what the No Fakes Act is. Let me just. No Fakes Act is a bipartisan federal bill designed to protect the voices and visual likeness of all individuals from unauthorized AI-generated digital replicas and deepfakes. I like this one. I like that.
This is what they make you do, by the way.
Oh my God! Don't get us banned.
It's nothing on there. You can't see nothing. You can't see it. They don't let you hear it. They mute it, and you have to go. So then you click start age verification, and then verify your age. And then when you go to verify your age, you have to go here.
Okay.
And then so you verify your age, you either create an account or log in, and then let's say selfie for age estimation. Yes, okay, you have to do a selfie right there.
All right, so let's dissect this. Let's dissect this, because I believe that we have to give this some context. Do we want our kids to be able to access these websites? No, we don't. We don't. So no. Let's put that out there. We don't want that. We do want to protect our kids, but they're also saying they don't want any culpability in when a kid does something like self-harm or has body dysmorphia issues, or you're not able to block things for your toddler. Like, so on two folds, they're trying to get more information from us for whatever websites, deregulated by the state, and also not take accountability for the kids. So the publicly it's like, hey, we're trying to protect your kids and all that stuff. And because of that, what you see on there, people will see that and be like, oh, clearly they're trying to protect the kids. They're looking out for everybody, you know? But the truth of the matter is, behind the scenes, they're trying to not take responsibility for what's going on a UK US national level, where they are now being faced with a responsibility for the addictive natures of their websites. They want to be able to maintain that addictive nature of their tech platforms, not even websites, tech platforms, of their applications.
Now I got a question for you, Chidi. I don't know if you was about to land, but I got a question. Can this information be used to track those that are searching and looking for child stuff, like child categories stuff? Would this be something? And if someone presented that as the umbrella, could that be something that you go under the tent to protect yourself from? Like if that's if that's something that
I think giving your face to a prawn website is a bit much. Adult website, it is a bit much. I do. However, age verification, I don't mind it. Are you a robot or not? Yeah, I don't mind it. And if people are searching that, they should be able already to be flagging that anyways. So yes, if you are making now your kinks and that part also being able to be tracked in a part of the algorithm, like if they make an adult website that's similar to like a Facebook or Instagram, which is like now you're gonna have to sign in, verify, and all that stuff, then you're able to flag this person for that. I'm all for that because we want that. But the problem I have with that is that I don't think they're doing this to help kids. I think it's disguised as that. Because if that was the case, we wouldn't have X the way it is right now, And I think that's the bigger picture, is that are you truly in it for the right reasons? Because people are telling you, hey, we're being harmed by your product. Are you going to change it? Are you going to try to alter it? Instead of just saying, you know what, we're going to change the endless scrolling and the notification spikes and all that stuff. We want to alter that to minimize that going forward. I mean, we've already got everybody we can get, pretty much on these apps using it nonstop. It's a monopoly of sorts, with a lot of these tech apps. So at this point, I'm like, you got enough money. You're getting advertising dollars. You're getting freaking all this type of shit. Now it's time to change it back to a safe place. And why is that such an issue? Why can't we people say, hey man, can you protect our kids? And you say, you know what? We don't want to be responsible for protecting your kids. Throw that onto Google and Apple. So like I don't mind the whole, verification stuff, giving your face and your ID. It's a bit much because I do think that can just make a profile of you online, not that you already got, but now they're getting even more into who you are. Oh, this person likes BBWs, and like this is what they can use to sell you things, to advertise to you.
Fine if niggas like bestiality. Now that's something niggas need to like. You know what I mean? Like
I don't want people knowing any of that stuff though. Like, but granted, bestiality. You can flag them and all that stuff and say, listen, man, this is weird. You need to get help, But think about it. If they can go ahead and let's say somebody wants to be, I don't know, let's say I develop an app, it ends up selling very well. I'm in like now a merger acquisition, and they're like, oh, guess what? Chidi likes in his searches, and just make a whole scandal out of it. Like that's just weird to me, and I don't think that companies should be able to have that access. And I think that's where things get kind of dicey, and I'm, you already know that this will be used for political blackmail, So I do think it's a step. I'm concerned about the surveillance state. I'm really concerned about the surveillance state, and I'm concerned about protecting kids. But I think there's ways to do that where we're not essentially just consolidating our information to give more and more information to these tech companies. I think that's the primary issue, is to find a way to protect the children while not giving these tech companies more and more information and surveillance on us. They're not even trying to stop the algorithm and feeding us nonsense. They're not even trying to stop the endless scrolling. They don't want us to. They want to keep these apps as addicting as possible, and it's part of their business model. And I think that's the issue they're fighting, is like they're fighting for the right to make you addicted to these apps, not to protect your kids, and also to help surveil each other, surveil people. So I hope that the No Fakes Act passes and all that stuff. The new version of the Kids Online Safety Act, I do think it's detrimental, and it steers away from the original purpose of the Kids Online Safety Act, and it removes all types of responsibility for these tech companies, and we need to keep an eye on that, because if they can publicly say, hey, we're protecting your teenagers, while people are suing for their kids having body dysmorphia and suicidal thoughts and mental health issues, they're playing both sides. It's hypocrisy, as we said before.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Am I back?
You're back.
Okay. All right. My bad, man. I thought you went down, nigga. I was about to say, oh no, we can't see you. It was me the whole time. You're the killer.
You're the killer, bro.
To your last point, because I heard everything. I was still in Discord and I was watching the show. You was running the show. You look good, by the way, too, brother. You know what I'm saying? Shoulders, brother, on the solo shot. I think to your point of the both sides thing, one of the things that I believe Meta spending helped pass 4 state laws, right? Louisiana specifically, they had 12 lobbyists who were deployed for one single bill that passed 99-0. So in Louisiana alone, Meta spent over $324,000 across 9 firms, right? And in California, they spent over $1 million in direct lobbying in just the first 3 quarters of 2025. So the lobbying and the money that they're spending, they are in some form or fashion.
Are you hearing me? Are you hearing that?
I'm hearing that. Yeah,
I'm just trying to find
no. You're in a preview.
Huh?
Okay, I don't know if they can hear it on the show though, but I hear it.
They can.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not seeing yet.
All right, bet. Okay. Yeah, I'm in there, but that's I gotta work. I should be like Maya.
You stopped.
No, I should be like Maya at the piano. Nigga, it's the synchronicity. But I think to what we're saying is playing both sides is they have the ability to do so, because first and foremost they are such the fabric of what we are, who we are, what we do, what we present, how we present ourselves. Like they are the very much fabric that when we wake up, the first thing we do is grab this so we can check this.
True.
Right. So we are preaching to a choir that might be deaf.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like
are we deaf? I mean, I might be deaf my damn self, but like
no, because or we're presenting a painting to a crowd who may be blind. You see what I'm saying? Like they won't be able to receive what it is that we're because again, this goes back to you and I, right? We speak about you and I and what our daily habits are. And because we're in this content game, right, we have to change or make a direct pivot from who we are because I'm just a Twitter guy. I'm on Twitter. That's what I do. You know, I can mind myself, lose myself in Twitter and YouTube. That's it. So for the content game, there is no reach, There is no type of advantageousness for me to be on those apps. So when we talk about changing our habit and forming a habit, I don't know where I'm about to go when I get on TikTok. I don't know where I'm about to go and what I find when I get on Instagram. I don't know who business I'm about to get into when I go on Facebook. You see what I'm saying? Like, so for me to make that, that's why I don't go there, right? So, but I have to now, right? And
no. Here's, I think that you're looking at it a little bit weird. Not weird, but a little bit wrong. You have to interact with it for sure, but you don't have to consume on those apps. I'm the same way.
That's gonna be tough, though.
I consume YouTube really primarily, you know, but I try my best to minimize when I have off times and just get my mind away from the phone. Period. You know, sometimes just tap in with the family, do some dishes. You know, kind of like, you know, lock in on what's needed around the house, intentionally. However, like, yeah, like TikTok, when I gotta go and post something, I post something real quick. I might see something. I'm like, more rivals content. Let's move on. I've seen it all. You know, like, you know, every now and then I might see somebody online and see what they're doing. Oh, they're on that. Okay, cool. Move on. If you don't need to consume it, you have to have a little more grace in yourself to like.
For us, we will though, right? So and the reason why the only reason I'm just pushing back just a tad is because for us to sift through with us, everything
that's
is
different. Right? I think the mindset of consuming content and the mindset of trying to find something that you're trying to connect with is different, I think, to me. I don't know. I think the mind I go into it on a weekend, we're like, okay, let's see what other content's like us. Business. I have a business mindset on. Like, I'm not coming to it just like from a standpoint of, let me just sit down and watch this shit and get sucked into TikTok. No, I'm not doing that. I'm like going there for a specific purpose. And I think when you go on to Twitter, maybe you're just like, you know what you're going to Twitter for, or maybe not. You just go and see what's up. Like, you just on Twitter, like, you just go and see what's up, and you just sit back. Oh, that's what
I'm there. I'm there for hours, and so that's the scary part, because I know I've lost myself in Twitter already. But this is what I'm talking about, a fabric, right? This is what I'm trying to say. The fabric of me is 2009. I've been on Twitter since 2009. You know what I mean? Like the fabric of, you know, arguments. The argument with my girl was, she like, is me or would you delete Twitter? I'm like, man, I don't read the newspaper. You know what I mean? Like, I have to find, so like, you know, like it's a mental, it's like, so I identify with my 5-year-old or my 7-year-old who's constantly on YouTube, right? We're talking about brain right. I identify with the teenager who's constantly looking at their phone.
I do too. For me, it's YouTube. For me, it's YouTube. Sometimes I'll watch a whole video on the jets and I'm like, okay, what's next? I'm just looking for something to grab me. And rather than like, dude, just move on. Like, you know, go do something. I'll grab a drink of water or something. Like, and I'm like, oh, what other going on? Oh, I'm like refreshing and shit like that, you know, to see what's the next, anybody I like post something like, and it's like, you know, that's what I be doing, you know? I'm like, and then I'll see something interesting.
And it's also just to wash, and I do that to wash dishes, to fold clothes. Yeah. Like sometimes, nigga, I'm like, my food get cold because I'm searching for something to watch.
To watch while you eat, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so like,
it's like our TV now. It's our TV show. It's like we should, you know, channel surf back in the day. Like, oh, channel 1, 2, 3. I can't find something good. You know, that's how we do it on YouTube. Like, it really has become. When YouTube came out, I would never predict that it would turn into the majority of what I watch. Like, it's now my TV. Like, back in the day, I'm like, oh, this is cool, but I'm going to turn on, you know, ESPN. I'm going to turn on Nickelodeon back in the day, or, you know, watch some, you know, cartoons. But now I've gone to a grown adult who's like, you know, now I'm interested in the news. Now I'm interested in, and I don't trust the news on TV, on channel, you know, TV. You know, like, I'm now looking for
YouTube and try to find.
Yeah, I want to find an independent media, you know, that I watch ESPN and Stephen A. Smith. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to hear this nigga talk anymore. Let me go find somebody talk about my Jets who actually knows what they're talking about, and an independent media. So I trust independent sources who are doing the research like me and you and finding it and bringing it back, because that's what it takes nowadays. Like I think that it's kind of been decentralized in a sense, and it has caused more division. But at the same time, I do think that there's a reason why, because people are bought. People are realizing that people are bought. You know, so YouTube, as much as I do gotta limit my use of YouTube, I do see use of value in it. It's not like I just go there and I'm just like, oh no, I do go there and just zone out. Don't get me wrong, but I do also have moments where I'm going there to be informed. Yeah, to also be informed about certain things.
Yeah.
But yeah, more with Kyle Kalinske on this surveillance thing.
Pornography, but in reality, it's we have a mass database on everybody who's fucking jacking off and what they're jacking off to. Massive invasion of privacy. All right, let's continue. The backlash to this legislative trade-off cuts across typical political lines. Even conservative-backed organizations like the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, FIRE, have issued stark warnings, declaring that the package would dismantle the internet as we know it by empowering the Federal Trade Commission to dictate acceptable online speech. That's crazy, bro. So this would literally kill the internet as we know it, where it's no longer like, freedom, say what you want, do what you want, have anonymity. This would be like, the golden era is gone. The internet would no longer be the Wild West. It would be tamed. It would be only a government-approved speech allowed, which obviously that would be a fucking catastrophe. I mean, look who runs the fucking government, right? You want them making the decisions? Oh my God.
That sounds like
opponents argue that enforcing these rules would effectively eliminate online anonymity while giving the administration an incredibly powerful tool to censor dissenting political views and control what users see on major platforms like Instagram. Jesus. As the White House maneuvers to secure congressional backing, Americans are left facing a troubling dilemma. The long sought-after regulation of big tech and AI may come at the direct cost of their fundamental constitutional rights to free expression. So that's crazy. So they are literally coming to end the First Amendment as we know it. We also know they're trying to get rid of Section 230. Section 230 makes it so that, like YouTube, if I say something crazy that's potentially defamatory, YouTube can't get sued over that because they didn't say it. They just have the platform where I said the thing, right? That's what Section 230 does, is it makes it so that it's like limited liability for these big platforms where they can't be held directly accountable for something people say on there because obviously there's like billions of people on there now, and how could they be responsible for what billions of people say? It would make it unworkable.
All right. So you said, is that communism? It might be. It might be. We're moving towards a more, we're already in an authoritarian state right now. But so it's like either we know everything about you and we approve everything you want that you say online, which would be terrible for us, and what we do. Or we allow these AI companies to come in and have complete regulation, do whatever they want, complete, no state pushback on that. So
why is it either or?
I don't get it. I don't get it either.
Because okay, what does AI have to do with free speech on the internet? And how do you get to use the First Amendment and then dismantle it? Like what are we doing?
So it says under the proposed deal by Axios, the federal government would strip states' rights away from regulating artificial intelligence, right? In exchange, lawmakers will push through 3 major federal acts: the Censorship Bill, Kids Online Safety Act, No Fakes, and Federal Online Verification. The backlash to this legislative trade-off cuts across typical political lines, even conservative-backed organizations like Foundation of Individual Rights Expression. They have a warning declaring that the package would dismantle the internet as we know it by empowering Federal Trade Commission to dictate acceptable online speech. They think that this will empower the Federal Trade Commission to dictate online civil speech. The Federal Trade Commission.
The FTC.
Yeah. So if they repeal, how at least maybe this is my understanding of it. If they repeal the what do you call this damn thing, bro? Section 230, right?
Yes.
Then YouTube will be liable for the things we say on the platform. Therefore, YouTube will then have to say, "Oh, we're kicking you off the platform if you say something we don't like," or And what does that do? It limits your speech.
Or it pushes you to kick.
But Kick will also be liable for whatever you say if they repeal Section 230. So any online platform will be because they're all online platforms, so they will be liable for what's said on their platform.
And the reason why Kick allows you to say what's on your platform is because they aren't liable. They don't have any liability. So
no. First of all, Kick allows you to do things that YouTube doesn't. YouTube has community.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's because
it's not because of Section 230 though. You know, Section 230 is like, okay, you can't get sued because of what Cheaty says on YouTube or Kick. That's what that is. Kick is like, we are expanding what's acceptable on our platform. Whereas YouTube is like, we have a community guidelines, and we all, as a community, we want to build where we can't come over here and say you're a Nazi. You can't come over here and spew, you know, and hate rhetoric, you know. Whereas Kick is like, say whatever you fuck you want, you know. We're not liable anyways, right? Whereas YouTube wants to be more inclusive. That's just the branding and the culture they're trying to build on their platform. Section 230 says now, oh, Cheaty says this on your platform about Meta. Oh, we're suing YouTube because you allowed Cheaty to say that Meta should be liable. And then YouTube now at risk of getting sued by Meta because of what I said. Because now then they're going to be then they're going to be more inclined to censor their patrons or their content creators, and that will turn in due time into a world where everything is censored on the internet because no one can speak up for themselves, and we're stuck, you know, in a authoritarian, communist.
So will we be
centralized?
Will we be able to create our own websites at that point in time? Like,
yes,
we'll be able to.
But we will also be responsible for what happens on there, meaning that if we create our own YouTube and some fool goes on there and they say something that's not true and somebody doesn't like it, that person that doesn't like it can sue me directly because I created the website. So that's the risk you're taking, because then I gotta be also putting my whole livelihood at risk to have a freedom of speech website now, because at some point somebody's gonna say some fuck shit that somebody else not gonna like.
Well, I'll bring it to you and me and you. If me and you have this website, would you condemn me into what I say and how I say it? Or will we take that risk together?
It would be obviously a choice of depending on what we're saying, you know, honestly, you know, like,
I mean, it's just anything. If we're talking about, like, if you know how we're speaking what we're talking about, we're bringing truth to power. That's not defaming or anything like that. But what if I go on a tangent, right? Like I usually do, and I say something about the Jays, you know what I'm saying? Or I go off on something that is homophobic, possibly. You know, I said
us, whoever is in control of the app. And
I know, but I'm asking you, would you censor me? Like come like building the app and we got the website.
If 230 gets repealed, will I censor the people on my website or my or you?
Yes.
I'm not sure if I would even make the website, because I would have to be honestly taking that into consideration that it's going to happen. And if I get sued, then I'm in debt for the rest of my life, you know, and my family's in debt for the rest of their life. So that's what they're trying to create, that internal pressure of, you better not say these things or else you now you got to fall in line, you know.
Well, to us now, I'm just pinging back. I'm just tennis with me. Just go now. Me and you are big proponents of the First Amendment. We just said that we have a cheat code, that our country has the ability to with the repealing of 230. Is that somewhat protected? I could probably ask that myself. Is that somewhat protected by an amendment or the amendment? Like what right now, the peel back of the First Amendment as they're trying to do, what would that then insinuate, or would that trigger for Section 230, or is that completely separate is what I'm trying to figure out? Because I would ask, or, you know, I will see you as a fighter for the First Amendment. And the reason why I'm asking these questions is because in real life, in real time, this might happen. And we've always talked about having our own website. We've always just pushed our traffic to our website, eitv.com. You know
what
I'm saying?
I would do is I probably will have to pay attention to the landscape and find the loopholes. That's what I would have to do. I'll really have to analyze, okay, what can I get away with here? Where's the strategy now? That's what my brain does immediately. Say, okay, boom. What is the strategy now with the situation? They're trying to stack the deck against anybody who has any voice. All right, how do we fight for freedom? It might be I might need to fucking become a lawyer at that point. That might be the answer where I could go into a courtroom and be like, all right, fight for our freedom of speech.
Chidi Murdoch, baby.
Like that's where my mind goes. Is like, how do I now? What's the pivot to fight still? And it might not be just rubbing my head against the wall when there's a brick wall that's going to lead to me getting sued. That might not be the avenue for liberation at that point. It might be, all right, now we got to repeal this, we got to repeal that, we got to reverse the damage before we can move forward again. And we're already in that position now with a lot of things, with Senator United, with other things, Glass-Steagall. So we got to get and organize locally, like we've been saying, and create a coalition so that we're heard. So that goes back to that. It goes back to community at that point. And yeah, we'll figure it out. But we definitely got to stay tuned to what's going on, because this is going to impact the internet at large. And I just hope that everybody's ready, because yeah.
No, everybody's not ready, bro. I just told you 2 months ago I was not ready, because nobody ready for what's going on the internet right now.
No one even knows.
It's catching niggas with their pants down, literally. Nigga.
No one even knows, bro. It's so crazy, bro. It's so crazy. And that's why we're here, to talk about everything that fucking matters, bro. If you're here with us still, please hit the like button, subscribe, please, because we do want to keep you updated as things continue to grow and move forward with these lawsuits and with Meta's involvement in the KOSA. We'll see where it goes.
You got more on the video, or are we good on that?
I think we're good on that. Kyle kind of broke it down. Shout out to Kyle Klinsky and his YouTube channel. But yeah, he's pretty much typically on the right side of history with a lot of things. Moving on.
So I know you spoke about community, and one thing about finding your community is who's like-mindedness. Who are the ones that kind of have similar, not the same, don't have to think the same, don't have to be in the same think tank, but who can diversify their ideologies outside of what they have been taught or trained to be. So when we get into our next topic, and when we're speaking about the legitimacy of what micro retirement is, and what this is going to be deemed as is us, our generation, being whiny, trying to operate in a fantasy, right? Running from our problems, not being able to pull ourselves up.
These kids don't want to work anymore.
Well, let's just be quite frank. As of 2025, over 10% of workers are considering micro-retirement. Now, this is a legitimate fantasy because a lot of people don't have savings. So this is another thing of just, fuck it, I'll quit. In other cases. In other, like, I have, that motherfucking disease has struck me. It's something that I try to fight every time I get a job, but every time I sign an I-9, it comes back to me to where if I sneeze or cough, I'm like, oh shit, nigga, I gotta Quit-Itis. I think I gotta Quit-Itis. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the shit makes you itch. going to work, productivity, adherence, all these buzzwords that make you be like, points. Bitch, I got to work today. Like, what we talking about? I'm here at this desk, my headset on. I'm not motherfucking avoiding calls. Who cares if I put them on wait? Who cares? Who cares what the whole time is? This motherfucker rude. I need to gather myself. I need all the 3 minutes on this call. You about to get mad at me because I took 3 minutes? Because this nigga called me a bitch ass nigga because I called because he owed money, and I know how them niggas talk because I call them niggas bitch ass niggas when they call me about money that I owe. I know.
What are you talking about?
Nigga going to work and then motherfucking wanting to leave that hoe, and it ain't micro retirement, nigga. I want to leave this bitch.
Yeah, you just
I ain't got no savings. I ain't got no money. Motherfucker, I didn't get my first check yet. I'm out this bitch, nigga.
Yeah, you're just venting right now. Listen, man, when it comes to the working market, man, it's different for everybody right now. I know it's been hard for me to find a job back in tech. After I learned for 4 years how to become a computer scientist and a software developer, it's been very difficult for me. So I don't have the luxury of micro retirement. But before, when I was working in tech, don't get me wrong, I was considering something like this, saving up my money or becoming a digital nomad, because this is something that is appealing. Because we don't know I damn sure don't know if tomorrow's promised. I damn sure I lived with a freaking chronic disease for a majority of my life. I don't know if tomorrow is promised. And there's been a rise of mini or micro retirement in the Gen Z to millennials group because we're fucking tired of fucking like working and not getting to experience life. I think this is a culture of constantly grinding and saying, oh, delayed gratification. One day you're going to be able to, if you just do it the right way. And we've been lied to about so much shit, bro. About, like when people have left college and they said were promised jobs and the whole industry is gone, bro. That's how it's gone for a lot of people in our generation. We've been completely lied to about the American dream. So what do you mean? Like, we can't micro retire? We can't just say, if we do have money coming in, saving it up and then going on a vacation for a couple months, but they don't want to make that the culture. I think these corporations don't want to make that the culture because then people will use them to benefit themselves rather than them exploiting us.
Which they hate. And to be quite honest, 2020, I guess, like, we can really, honestly, when we talk about putting toothpaste back into the tube, right? When at first, if you think about life before the pandemic, the idea of working from home was a fantasy. You had to have a really good job. You had to be like a damn near a boss type nigga. To work remote.
You would have to be right next to the freaking CEO to be able to work from home. You would have to be a CEO your damn self. It was, you say work from home. Are you crazy? Yeah, I remember working on a light. They're like, no way, this is not, work from home. You don't even know if you're on. We can't monitor you being online nonstop.
And then the pandemic happened, and guess what they found to be able to do? Because businesses had to keep moving. Hey, everybody can work from home. Just make sure you got stable. Matter of fact, we'll give you money towards your internet bill. It was very much like, because again, and at that point, it was people weren't burnt out a lot. Like you like, oh, work from home. Bet I can work from home and then go out to the beach or go get my hair done like my wife used to do, or take calls outside feeding ducks like I used to do. You know what I'm saying? And then slowly they tried to peel it back. No more Wi-Fi. You got to be hardwired. You know what I mean? Like, niggas really started, because also the dopamine stuff that we talk about in the previous segment or topic. Niggas just got to go on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and Twitter and be like, I ain't working today. but I'm on the clock today. And I'm like, damn, nigga, you fucking it up for everybody. And they did. They did. They led to the remote work being a lot more strenuous. Now there is no work-life balance. Now they're at home all day, and because they made the remote work more strenuous, it's either you come into work and you just get off, get on, or nigga, you at home and you gotta make sure your work get done in the chaos of your house every day. And sometimes, all the time, that's pretty tough to do, honestly.
So Gen Z and millennials are now saying, fuck all that work-life balance shit. I'm just not going to work. I'm just going to save up the money and plan for a extended vacation. That means quitting the job altogether and just figuring out life as I go along. Let me take a 5-month vacation in a different state, different country, and this is what's going on.
And taking what's known as a mini retirement. A recent New York Times article profiled workers who are taking an extended gap between jobs to focus on their personal lives. New York Times reporter Isabella Kwai joins us now with more on this. Good morning to you, Isabella. We mentioned that young people are funding this by digging into their savings. How common is this?
Thanks for having me, Errol. So I think it's best to start with what a mini retirement actually is. It's a self-funded break away from traditional full-time employment. People think of it as a way to step back from work and invest in other areas of their life. Of course, to take a mini retirement, it requires a degree of financial stability. And the people I spoke with who do this, they're very intentional about it. They often take months to save up, or they're aware of having backup options like having family to stay with. But the purpose of taking a break like this is to think about what retirement really looks like, what it means to work today, and how to manage some of the stresses that come with modern work culture.
Well, look, I certainly like how it sounds. How did this impact the lives of the people you profiled? Because it is a payoff. They may have also suffered some professional setbacks as a result.
So the people I spoke with, many of them report coming back from a mini retirement with an increased sense of well-being, more confident and more clarity about what they want to do in the future. So this isn't just, I'm tired of working and I'm taking a break. It's a way to recalibrate and think about how you want the rest of your career to go. That being said, many of them said they were worried about what it would mean for them to look for jobs afterwards, and took care to not burn any professional bridges. But of the people that I interviewed, most of them said they had no regrets, and that it gave them a greater sense of well-being coming back to their jobs after.
Yeah, this is really fascinating. And you do note that there is a cost to this, but based on the people you spoke with, what did they gain overall? You said a sense of being reinvigorated, but what did they get that they would otherwise miss out on if they kept working?
Many young people these days feel quite worried about the future. They don't know what the world is going to look like when they reach traditional retirement age. So for a lot of people, this is not just about work, it's about how they want to spend their time. And, a lot of people I spoke to told me that it gave them this feeling of fulfillment and the idea that they're living their lives and enjoying it now, rather than waiting for a future that to them feels really uncertain and unpredictable. So in a way, it's not just about work and career. It's more philosophical considerations of what you want your life to look like for these people.
Yeah.
So when I hear this, I'm reminded of a time when I had a little bit of money, and from an accident, and I left my job, and I was just praying for that money to come through. It came through, and I had months to really think about my life, and it did help me just kind of like refocus on like my passions. And me and you were potting at the time, and like getting involved with that a little bit more heavy, and purpose in life, and my whole perspective on life really was able to change because I was outside of the job. When you're in that grind of the job, especially in corporate, which I was in corporate at the time, you're constantly keeping in mind, in the forefront of your mind, other people's problems and how you can fix it so that you can be reliable for this multi-million dollar or billion-dollar company to look proper at work, to stay in the same corporate environment. You have to be, approachable and accountable and reliable in a sense, so that you don't look like you're falling short on a regular basis. Now that caught up to me because I started to deal with a lot of anxiety at the job and a lot of anxiety in my personal life because all I'm doing is, at the time, was my girl. We were going through it, so we would have issues, and then now I'm working, so my whole life was like through like a turmoil. Like I'm working, arguing with my girl, then I'm back to working, then I'm trying to make things work out at home, and I had to just let it all go at one point, and then luckily the money came in and it gave me a chance to recalibrate. And I do think that sometimes if you have the ability to do that, this is logical, especially given that tomorrow not promised in this world, and your retirement is not promised. So for people who have the means to do this, I think this is a very logical change. And if I had it, I would have. And I kind of did go through a little bit, because I was able to work on passions outside of a typical corporate job at the time. But also, most people don't have the luxury to do this. And I want to keep that in the forefront of people's minds.
That was the thing that I wanted to bring up, that this might cause a class divide a little bit. With this,
because
it's a luxury.
Absolutely a luxury. You have to freaking have a job that can to have savings. How many people, how many people are working their ass off and
don't gotta save it to save, nigga.
Check to check, bro. That's literally how it is. Sometimes people are working and their whole check goes to rent. That whole week they got to figure out how to eat. The whole check went to rent. They have no idea where they're going to get the next meal. So this is a luxury for some people. But people are also, like, the corporations are really mad about people who are doing this culture growing. And that's what the people who are in a different class than me and you, and that might be making it like a couple $100,000 in tech companies or whatever companies, that are now saying, yeah, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. I'm going to go ahead and take a couple months off or a year off because I saved it up. Because if that spreads as a culture, then it could grow legs, for regular people who, like me and you, who are like, hey man, we want a higher wage so we can also save, so we can also take our mini vacations, and I think that's what people are afraid of. That's where the socialist things are always a pushback on that stuff, because they don't want people to have the autonomy to say, I'm not working. They want to put us in a position where we're forced to make a living for forever, for years. And maybe when you're old, maybe just maybe when you're 65, you can be like, all right, I'm not working anymore. But as we see, majority of people are still working that are 70 plus, like my mother and other senior citizens. So it gets really like I told you before, like the revolution is when people say, fuck it, we're not going to work. Like if people really want things to change tomorrow, everybody says, hey, fuck it, we're not going to work. We're all staying home until we change the system, because it's hard for everybody out here. And if this starts happening, people think, oh wow, you have an option to take a mini retirement. Just the thought process is a paradigm shift. So shout out to the millennials and these Gen Zers who can do this, and more power to you. But to people who can't, I'll say this: keep your job if you have one, because it's hard to get one out here. But also, man, we need to get more unions. We need to get more autonomy on our day-to-day life, and we need to fight for higher wages so that you don't have to feel forced to do something you don't want to do, because your life is short. Life is short, man. Spending you know, I don't care if it's even 20% of your life working for somebody else to just have a decent life is a lot of time, you know. So if you're not like, especially if you don't like what you're doing, if you're not like enjoying it, then yeah, it could be really harmful to your stress, to your health. You know, stress is a killer. So yeah, so shout out to people who are doing this, but to people who don't, I think that there's work to be done so that we can fight for more just wages and so that we can have a little bit more balance.
I think the balance is something that we argue for all the time. You know, the reality of this micro retirement, I guess, phenomenon is pretty much exactly everything that we spoke of. The risk of mortgage payments, car payments, kids relying on you. The national credit card debt right now is at 1.2 trillion, which means the average balance is over $6,000, which really questions, are we funding a life with savings, or are we funding our life with credit and saying, fuck it, we'll take it up on the back end anyway? You know what I'm saying? So like there is a ton of that this culture provides that is unhealthy, right? The fact that some countries do got a 4-day work week, 4 10s, you off Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Like there are with truck drivers, Rich has a maximum hours he can drive. Nigga, you better not, this car better not have no motion for at least, I think it's 16 hours or something like that. I may be mistaken or whatever the case would be, but when Rich reach a maximum amount of hours driven, he can potentially miss out on money because he can't get back on the road quick enough, depending on where it falls in the pay week or something like that. Like, so like there's a legitimacy of like, you can put permutations of people working too much, but ultimately the stress of, again, that Amazon driver got to deliver 3,000 packages, or like we said, it's left up to the state to raise minimum wage, and if the state don't really make no money, that state not gonna raise minimum wage because the federal minimum wage is $7.25, right? So we talking about managers at McDonald's right here where I'm at, making less than $20 an hour. Family Dollar workers is working for $14, $15 an hour. Like that is not a livable wage right now when gas was just $4.47 a gallon, my nigga. Like, I don't know what we on right now. So yeah, niggas is either taking this micro retirement or just flat out saying like, I'll be able to find something better or something just as bad, nigga. I need a break.
Yeah, man. The shit. I'm sure people are like, yo, I don't know what's happening in the world. Like, it might be World War III. I'm going to freaking Prague right now. I've never got to see the Roman Colosseum. I'm going to Rome right now. I'm gonna go take my vacation time, or I'm not even vacation time. I'm taking my lifetime and making it a plan with the money that I earned to then go and live with it wherever I want to live with it. And I applaud that because they want to brainwash you into thinking that you owe these companies your entire life. Now, if you can get a good wage to plan it out and strategically do that, if you're living home with your parents and they're not taking no money, you can save a little bit for a whole year or 2 years, and then like, yo, I saved enough to just quit this job and go to Paris for a year and just eat bagels and baguettes, and just go with the system, with the river, or go to Africa and see more culture, and all type, whatever your heart's desire. Go to Tokyo, Japan, whatever if you're into anime. If that's what you want, do it. I'm more power to people who do that, I'll say. So I have nothing wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I know there's a lot of people trying to push back on it, saying, "Oh my God, it's not going to work. They're not going to have money in retirement." Guess what? They might not have money for retirement as we speak right now.
And that's true, and that's so much true, and because you have a generation right now that is unretired, right?
Yeah, already.
Right now
we're seeing it.
The rate of Americans, or the rate of people, the rate of Americans over 65 still working has doubled in the last 35 years. So this means, again, they had to unretire because their savings didn't stretch far enough, right? Where you have another generation that's just like, we don't give a fuck about savings, we don't give a fuck about retirement, because we see what the system just did to you. We don't trust the system to deliver at all.
And that's what it comes down to. It's a distrust of the system. And I think that's what we have to reflect on as a people, as Americans, as people are doing this in the UK as well. Like, if we don't trust the system to take care of its people and give us a life worth living, then we got to find a way to do it our damn selves.
So I guess, with that, this kind of is like us connecting the dots, really, where, to your point, with big tobacco comparison to the meta, right? Fight regulation with money, lose in court, pay a penalty that's rounding against the revenue, and then lobby the shit. Like, that's exactly what big tobacco did, right? And to their point, it worked until it didn't. And hear me out, because even though cigarettes sell, right, even though there's still tobacco, even though there's still laws in place to allow them to do what they do, there is heavy limitation on how they're able to advertise, on how they're able to present themselves, right? I believe Cool Joe Camo, was a commercial back in the day where it kind of like advertised smoking being cool, right?
Yeah.
And there was a lawsuit with that, so therefore there's no children no advertisement geared towards children. So there is a playbook also that we can follow that can allow, hey man, tech, do your fucking thing, because we love the technological events. I love getting on the app and linking up with a friend I ain't seen in two decades from high school. I love fucking getting on the app and talking to somebody 2 continents over about something. Like, I love the ability of technology. I do believe that there should be and has to be some level of ramification for just like big tobacco. When you make kids want to smoke because it's the cool thing to do, yeah, I get to sue every fucking cigarette company I've seen in the grocery store, because we have candies, right? Remember the cigarette candies? My mom used to smack that shit out of my hands, like, you don't smoke a cigarette. And in the culture shock, because I go to go see my dad and visit my dad, because my mom don't smoke cigarettes, but I go visit my dad. My dad got a pack. My grandma smoked. Auntie Ann smoked. So I'm around cigarette smoke. I'm around people that smoke that I love, and they tell me not to smoke. What the fuck type of world that live in, nigga? I try these cigarettes. And the first time my little 12-year-old ass, 13-year-old ass tried goddamn cigarette and killed myself, nigga. That is my family fault and the commercials that I see fault. Nigga, it's everybody's fault. So yeah, I think when we are on our phone all the time and we're addicted to our apps and we're addicted to our phone, we teach our children this is entertainment. You know what I mean? Like, when we can, instead of picking up a real book and reading a real book, we're reading it on a tablet. Instead of doing real fucking accounting with what we do it on our phone, like, everything is electronic. So it's hard. There is culpability with all parties involved, especially when we're talking about the impact of a generation growing up into something. That definitely has to be. And I don't want to not take accountability for, again, hey, what you download on that iPad, having parental guardrails on guidelines and guardrails on your electronics. Also for me, Ivana has told me to create another YouTube, please, so that it's clean. Like I have to clean my algorithm because my kids know how to now type Larry June to the point of I can't block. I'm not blocking Larry June on my channel. You kidding me? You know what I'm saying?
There's a problem with that because you can just go to guest. Like that's what my nephew does. He just goes to guest. Guest is not blockable. Like what the fuck, yo? Like come on, man.
And with guests, you need to be able to think. To your point, age verification. If you are a guest, even with your PlayStation, with your Xbox, if you log in and you're a guest and you don't have a profile, age verification. Because if that's the case, I can't let you play Call of Duty. You already told me you already told me you ain't of age. You know what I'm saying? Like I need to be able to do things like that because you can just log in to guests right now. It's nothing. It's nothing. Now I can prevent you from buying games or buying apps or whatever the case may be. But to your point, like on YouTube, like guests is carte blanche damn near. Yeah, it's like an incognito tab, my nigga.
Exactly.
Like,
and the kids know exactly how to get to it. It's like what the fuck are they doing? They know, like, there's no way YouTube does not know that they have this problem, that this flaw. There's no way.
Exactly.
So, yeah, we're gonna keep on the track on the whole thing with the Kids Online Safety Act and keep y'all abreast as we get things going along with it. And hopefully it doesn't pass. I don't want the second version to pass because it completely removes liability and the ability for them to be held accountable for anything. That means all the state laws have to stop. All the state lawsuits have to stop immediately, which is going to be terrible for regulation. Terrible for our vision of holding them accountable for these apps' addictive nature. And more power to the people who are doing micro retirements, and we'll see how that turns out for them, man. Hopefully they can, find some more peace in that, time away, and get more clarity on who they are and what they want to do in life for going further. Before we get up out of here, I do want to give a shout out to Mr. Barack Obama. They finally released or opened the Obama Presidential Center and Library in Chicago, which was in the works for a while, in Jackson Park. The grand open ceremony invited guests and was complemented by a massive public watch party at Midway Plaisance. I think that's what's called, Plaisance, where the thousands of people gathered near and far to mark the occasion. The center officially opens to the public on Friday. Tickets to the museum are still now. Now, President Obama gave a keynote speech saying this reminds us of what we can be. I have a little bit of an excerpt from that. It's a quick, you guys can look into it more. But this is just a quick little.
Go ahead and support our boy Barry.
Yeah. One second. You're not hearing it, are you?
No, sir. No, sir.
That's because it's muted.
It was my.
And feel good about that. And what I also hope is that you don't feel nostalgia for it. I don't believe in nostalgia. Because I think nostalgia implies this sentiment that there's this thing in the past that was somehow golden and better, but is unattainable now. And it lets us off the hook because it makes us feel like, well, that was wonderful, but now this is the reality and there's not much we can do about it. There's a way in which nostalgia lets us off the hook. And I want people to go in there and be reminded of what's possible. I want people to look and say, yeah, actually, you know what? We can join together and make the country better. We can reach out to people who on the surface don't seem like us and win them over. We can operate with our best impulses and still come out on top. We can do those things that not only change the nation, but change the world. If you're willing to dig deep and take responsibility. All right. I love you guys. Appreciate it.
Shout out to Barry, Barack Obama, man. It's nice to see him out. I'm happy that he was able to be honored in this museum and library. So hopefully one day I can make it to Chicago and check out the presidential center, the overall presidential, so, and check out the library. Speaking of books, man, go get a book, man. Go grab a book and read it, because it's just like these are getting extinct nowadays. And definitely go and check out the full speech, because it was like 30 minutes. And I think a lot of it was poignant to like where we are today and what we should be doing to move forward. Very, very humanist of him.
Hey man, Barry's always one of those who can connect, on the basic human level. So, do we got any other kind of like quick hits for the show?
Definitely not light. I just want to say rest in peace, Tate Keith. I heard that he passed today. Huge producer for the past, man. It was 29 years old, man. And he was a college graduate, man. When Sicko Mode came out, we talked about Sicko Mode on this podcast before. That was like his first #1. And he's only been in the spotlight for like less than a decade. And, so unfortunately we lost him. And he was just kind of like really, he made so many hits, produced so many hits over the past 8-9 years. So rest in peace, Tate Keith, man. You're a legend.
Tate Keith, fuck these niggas up, man.
Yeah.
Oh, rest in peace, Tate. You know what? We going out on that, man. Rest in peace, Tate Keith, brother.
Rest in peace.
Hey, y'all gonna catch us tomorrow. No Funky Fridays, no Spirit Corner. Oh, what you got? What? I'm sorry.
Tomorrow is the birthday for a Christian, right?
Yeah.
And it's Juneteenth. So yeah.
Are we observing the holiday?
I think we should. Observe the holiday. Give ourselves a day off. I still think we should put our clips out.
Absolutely.
Let's
not get crazy.
He said let's not get crazy. But yeah, we'll probably see us back on Monday. We're observing the Juneteenth holiday, the emancipation of all slaves, the true emancipation of all slaves of this country. And so you guys definitely, I hope you're observing it and take time to reflect on what it means to be Black in America. And if you're not Black, just do some research and look on to what this day means and why it's important that it's a federal national holiday. I'm sure we're gonna have things to talk about on Monday throughout the weekend, and how people have chose to celebrate this. But with all that being said, thank you for joining us on Everything Is. Let me play a little background music to head us on out of here.
Fuck me up with that one, boy. I didn't think you was gonna call it. We was just talking about work-life balance, but I didn't think you was gonna take a day off, boy.
No, we're gonna take a day off, man. We're gonna do a little mini retirement ourselves. A day of mini retirement. It's Christian's birthday. It's Juneteenth, and we need to take a day to reflect and take a day to be with your family. So there will not be a live pod. This is our first day off since starting this pod 2.5 months ago. So I think we've earned it. We've been kicking ass. We got 57 subscribers. If you're here with us, please subscribe. We try to get 100 by the end of the month. We'll see if we can hit it or not. But yeah, it's been a good pod, and we'll be back Monday. We're here with Everything Is. We are the culture. We are the zeitgeist. We're here to talk about everything that matters. And we are out. Always keep loving your hearts and spirit, because the world knows, the Lord knows the world needs it. Rest in peace, Ted Keith. See you Monday.
And if the system won't protect you, you have to find your own way. Yourself. And the great words of the woo, protect your neck. Nigga, shout out to the world champions of New York, baby.
If you made it this far, you are a real one. Thank you. So please like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more daily content from your boys from Everything Is.